Hi y'all, welcome to Petite Weaver Crafts episode 13. I'm recording here today on August 29th from Los Angeles. If you're a new viewer, this is a video podcast about knitting, spinning, weaving, and a lot of other crafty things that I get myself into. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back, and I apologize for not having a video last week. My poor little puppy lady was feeling really sick and it was stressing me out and I had to take her to the vet, etc. I hope you guys can understand, but I have a lot for you guys this week. I have some stash enhancements, some finished objects, and a few more whips you haven't seen before. So let's get started. So first up is stash. I was actually very good and didn't actually purchase anything over the last 2 weeks, but I did get a couple of stash acquisitions from friends and from my spinning guild. So this past weekend I went to my local spinning guild meeting. So as part of the meeting, our guild always has their members bring a few items that they don't want anymore or don't love anymore as part of a raffle. And the raffle goes towards supporting the guild, and I won a skein of yarn. This is Desert Vista Dyeworks, and the yarn base is called Vior, and the colorway is called Cranberry sauce. It's a super fun skein of fingering weight yarn, and I think this is going to be perfect for either a cowl or maybe another hat for the fall. So this is my first ever skein of Desert Vista Dyeworks, so I'm very excited to see how it works up. I was lucky enough to meet up with my friend Nicole this weekend as well. She is a bat maker and she makes the most vibrant, gorgeous bats you've ever seen. So please check her out on Instagram as Morgue Alicious. And her Etsy shop is MorkMade Fiber Company, and I'll post the links in the show notes below as well. So for me, she made me this gorgeous alpaca, silk, and merino bat. This is a much more neutral tone bat than she normally makes. She knows that I've been looking for some more neutrals to kind of add to my knitting wardrobe. But she also gifted me some very fun fibers. Super adorable little bumps of kind of rainbow colored. This makes me think of unicorns. So yeah, I think I'll spin these up for some minis for my scrappy yarn blanket. How fun are these colors? Oh my goodness. She also gave me this lovely bag of gorgeous bumps. So here is an example, and it looks like it has some dyed merino, some silk, and it also looks like it has some Angelina in it as well. So there's a little bit of sparkle in there. But yeah, she has amazing vibrant colors and you guys should definitely check her out. So yeah, in addition to her bats, she's also a spinner. She makes a lot of very fun, vibrant, textured yarns, and these are a lot more indicative of her bats as well. So here you have some super textured, fun, sparkly neons with blacks, as well as some super cool, lumpy, bumpy textured yarns. She's a gorgeous textured spinner. This is something that I have not quite mastered yet, and I'm super envious of her work. And here are two more of her super giant fluffy skeins. But yeah, she's super fun. It has a bunch of vibrant bats, and you guys should definitely check her out. Next up is finished object. So last episode I talked about a new scrap yarn blanket that I was starting. So I finished the first square of my pinwheel scrap blanket. I haven't woven in any of the ends, but I really like the way the pattern knit up. I learned how to do a new technique and it's been pretty fun. But yeah, once I pick out all the colors for the next block, I'll show you guys what I'm planning for my next square. The next finished object I have is a showstopper. At least I think so. It is my Asana shawl. Ta-da! So this is the shawl that I showed you guys last time I was working on. This is my first ever knits with beads, and I adore the way it turned out. It exceeded my expectations. I really enjoyed the process of adding beads to my knitting. It just brings the shawl to like the next level of like elegance and such. But yeah, I can't believe how well this thing turned out. So here is a shot of the shawl on. How gorgeous is this? But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I can foresee myself knitting a lot of things with beads in the near future. So as I mentioned, I went to my local spinning guild meeting this weekend, and as part of our guild, we have mini workshops during the meetings, and this month's program was spinning with beads. So here's the sample that I made. It is a lovely Corriedale with some clear beads with silver lining, and yeah, it was a super cool new technique. So if you guys are spinners as well, I really recommend you guys check out your local spinning guild. They can be an amazing, amazing resource for you to learn. I know there's a lot of digital resources that you can use nowadays to learn techniques and skills and such, but it's not quite the same as having hands-on mentorship as you're trying to learn a new technique. So yeah, if you guys are interested at all in learning new things, you should definitely check out any guilds that are local to you. They're just an amazing resource, and you get to be around people who are as passionate about stuff as you are. So now on to works in progress. So I have not been working on any of the whips that I've showed you guys before. I casted on new items and have been working on those. I know, I get so distracted. But immediately after my last recording session, one of my friends tagged me in a post on Instagram, and it happened to be a knit along. So it's called the Fringe and Friends knit along. So the Fringe Association is hosting a top-down sweater knit along, and what's amazing about this knit along is that Erin, who organizes the Fringe Association, has put together an amazing, amazing tutorial and walks you through how to design your own top-down raglan sweater. And I hadn't seen any of her blog posts before, but I do follow her on Instagram, and I checked out the blog posts, and they were incredible. I felt so empowered to design my own sweater that I casted on some of my lovely Ranch of the Oaks yarn that I showed you guys a few weeks back. It's this super gorgeous kind of dusty rose color alpaca, merino, and bamboo. And I am doing just a plain stockinette top-down sweater with a giant brioche shawl collar is the plan. So here it is so far. I've managed to knit the entire body of the sweater, including the sleeves, and now I am working on the brioche collar. So here you can see kind of the shaping around the neck. And for the bottom hem of this sweater, I did some short row shaping, so it kind of has more of a scoop back. But yeah, the series of blog posts that Karen made kind of walk you through how to make the calculations for your own customized sweater based off of a swatch that you've done. And you can incorporate any sort of stitch pattern that you would like into the sweater. You just have to do a little bit of math. And for this particular sweater, I wanted to do something super simple because originally for this yarn, I had intended to do a featherweight cardigan, which is a basic top-down stockinette sweater as well. But I wanted to add a little bit of interest to this one by adding a brioche collar. And I've actually never done brioche before either. So I had to quickly do a swatch and learn the stitch technique and everything like that. But I'm really enjoying it. And as you can tell, I'm a little bit obsessed with this thing. I'm almost done with the sweater, and it's only been 2 weeks. And and hopefully I should have it done by the next time I record. But yeah, this yarn is knitting up super, super well. There is a tiny bit of textured in the yarn, since it is milled by Ranch of the Oaks as well. It's super gorgeous. It has a lovely drape. And I cannot wait for it to have the sweater done. I had 6 skeins of this yarn. I used up 3 skeins for the body and the sleeves, and then the last 3 skeins I will be using for the collar, which I think is going to be a good amount, since I'm about um, a little less than halfway through 1 skein, and I only have about an inch of brioche. So with 3 skeins, I should have at least a 6-inch shawl collar, which is kind of what I was aiming for. So it all worked out really well. I wasn't quite sure when I started the sweater how much of a collar I was going to be able to squeeze out of the yarn that I had. And I forgot to mention, I use my size 2.5 Haya sharps for the body, and then I switched to a size 2 for the collar. But yeah, it's super, super squishy. And I think the color looks really good on me, so I'm super excited to have this finished. Alrighty, up next, I am working on another new project. I know. Please don't judge. I am working on a fair isle project now. This is the Crofthouse hat, and it is a free pattern. Yeah, it's super, super fun. I haven't done a fair isle project in a little while. Um, so here you can see the lovely corrugated ribbing at the bottom, and then there will be 3 rows of houses. You can kind of see the house there. There should be 3 rows of houses, and then it starts the decreasing for the top of the hat. And the yarn I am using here is some Knit Picks palette yarn. And these are just from my stash, so I didn't buy anything new for this. But yeah, I really, really like these colors together. And I used the technique that I showed you guys last time with the monochromatic filter on your camera phone to ensure that the contrast between each of the shades was sufficient enough to do some fair isle with. So for the ribbing, I used a size 2. So when I have 2 colors going at the same time, I use my size 4 bamboo needle. And then when I have a rest row and it's only a single color, I use a another size 3 steel needle here. And I'm using 2 different colored needle tips just so I can tell really quickly which needle I have as my right hand working needle. Because generally when you work with a single color, your stitches are going to be a bit looser than when you're working with 2 colors, because since you have so much going on, you tend to pull the yarns a little bit tighter, or at least I do. So that's kind of why I use 2 different size tips as I'm working. But yeah, I really like the way it turned out so far. I think this would be a really fun gift for someone for the holidays. I haven't quite decided who, but I felt the desire to do some color work, so I casted a new project on. Alrighty, that's it for me this week. And once again, I apologize, you guys, for not having an episode last week, but this poor little girl was not feeling well, and I had to take care of her. I don't have any children, so she's my little fur baby, and she's kind of the world to me. She's feeling a lot better now, and she's back to regular poops. So yeah, please follow me on Instagram. My screen name is Petite Weaver. That's probably the best way to get news from me about what's going on in my life. So yeah, I will talk to you guys next week. Thanks. Bye. Say bye. Say bye. No, no, you sleepyhead. She was napping. But yeah, she's feeling a lot better. Thanks, guys. Bye. Bye. I know you're mad at me, aren't you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I woke you up.